Hey, today I'm going to shoot, edit, and record the Black Widows Swamp Rock City, which is a surf EP they put out. And they're a surf punk band, which they go by, but they do like traditional-ish surf music or surf rock, whatever you prefer. But the cool thing about them is that they have quite a following, which I wasn't aware of. As with the case with most bands, I'm clueless until I stumble upon them. But they're on tour with the Surfers starting last night, the 5th of March. So this will air tomorrow at noon Eastern. This particular video, I've listened to the album a bunch of times, and I was so impressed with how they sounded, all the different, punk rock and surf and like garage that they kind of pull from the Riot Girl movement. And I had a really good interview with them yesterday, so I decided today, because they were the featured band this week on Wednesdays, I'm going to do a review of this particular one, which I believe is their most recent release, but they're working on new stuff. So what I'm going to do right now is not show you the review because I showed you that already. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I put together a thumbnail. Now you may think it's easier than what it is. Let me guarantee you that it's not as easy to look good on YouTube as it is. You have size ratio to worry about. The upload of the file has to be a certain size. Can't go above 2 megabytes. Yeah, that's pretty small. But it can't be poor quality either, because then it'll look like shit and you won't be able to tell just by scrolling through what it is. So I'm going to show you today how I'm going to create a thumbnail, and that's gonna pretty much determine what you guys see. The first thing, you'll see it on the socials, because what I usually do is go on YouTube and I grab a screenshot of the thumbnail and I post that on Instagram. Sometimes a band, like the band song underneath, I think is really, really cool. And I'll post a thumbnail on there. I'll post it to one group with a link in the comments to a surf forum group on Facebook. And I need to be better about SG or surfguitar101.com because that is a huge resource. And I have to be better about providing my stuff there, because a lot of people, that's the only place they go, and which is cool. It's great. So I'm too busy on YouTube to pay attention to everything, so it's hard to keep track of it all, social-wise. Anyways, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to walk you through it. And, from this album, you'll kind of see this edit that I'm doing, the behind-the-scenes edit. I'll lay a bed of this music underneath it, which I've already downloaded. I bought their whole catalog because I thought it was so good. So what I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is let you guys know that in the video descriptions, I go up here and I highlight the search bar, which on Macs, as you know, is Google. That was a massive jump when they did that. I thought that was brilliant. And I just copy that, and then I put it in the description of the video so people can go right from the review to this page and check it out. I mean, the music will play in the review, but you can just like check it out. It's that easy. So the first thing you need to do is go to the files, and since I record, it's in the Zoom file, and I just scroll down and I find reviews. Oh, wrong one. That's Sandbanks. Reviews, and then here's the Black Widows, and it's going to take a while to load because there's a lot, and this is a relatively new. See, look at all this. Boom, 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 boom. That's her whole discography. So as you can see right here, where's the cover? Where is the cover? Swamp City Rock. So here's the cover, right? And there's all the tunes. So what I want to get is, I want to make sure people know the album that I'm doing. And then I'll make up a title that repeats that. But I need to make the graphic. What am I going to make it on? Believe it or not, I didn't know. I wanted to be a graphic designer so badly, but I'm not considered like an artist. So when I started in college, it was very rudimentary. The way I did it, it was like, you know, the cassettes, you know, where you were copy and paste it at the print shop and then cut them out and fold them and put them in the cassettes. Yeah, it was brutal. So, but this is way easier, and I've got to know it very well. I started doing these thumbnails on Word, Microsoft Word, on that Microsoft Surface that I had. I loved it. And then once I started to up my game, I found Word became difficult to use. So I found more options with Pages on the Mac, and I had a Mac. So I started using that, and then like the more, you know, the subtle improvements I was making became too much for Pages to handle. So I had to find like an app that would really do the job. And there's an app that's specifically for this. And what I'll do is I'll go over here and open it, and it's Canva. What Canva is basically where I make the thumbnails. There's templates in here, and here's the Sandbanks where they do an exclusive rehearsal. And then here's the football one we did. Here's a review of YY. This is the seasonal ones I have. So the templates are basically the same. I have a cool picture from the interview. I'll cut it out and put it on a background. Make sure I have my logo so you know, oh, this is Ryan's review. The band logo always makes it look snappy. And then, let me see what else here. Here's the Spanish one, Spanish channel. That's an old 3 or 4 year old Volcanics interview, and I just repurposed it for the Spanish channel. I like the colors. I'm not sure why I chose them, but I like them. So I want to make sure I call up that template, right? This template, so it's going to change every time. Template being the most important part that stays the same is the little Target mod logo and the review text, so that when people look, they won't even read review. They'll see that type of font, and they'll see the logo, and they'll know, they'll like subliminally, it'll like I guess it's a marketing tactic. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of this background, right? I'll show you how I do that later. There's the background gone, and you can still see that the text is there. And there's the album cover, gone. All right, so now what am I gonna do is I'm gonna go get the album cover, because I want to make sure everybody knows that not only is it a review, but this is a specific album I'm gonna review. So all I do is go to the file, come over here, drag it into the uploads. These are all the uploads from all the templates I made. all the thumbnails. So up here, there's the Black Widows, and then I did a screen cap from the Bandcamp page, and right here it is of them. And I wanted it, because it's from the Bandcamp page, I want them to see something that will look familiar. So they're going to see this as a band, the band site, because they'll recognize the thumbnail, and they'll go to the Bandcamp page and they'll see the girls. And then, so I grabbed that from there. I'm going to put it on here. All you got to do is click it. Here it goes. This entire square with the blue outline, that is the size of the thumbnail. This is a thumbnail template that Canvas gives you. It also gives you like vertical short templates and lower third, these little graphic templates. So, so I'm just gonna blow this up and make sure it's the size, the proper dimensions. And I'm going to, just make sure that the width and the height is good. You see how that works, right? Boom. There's a nice, great background. It's just them. That's all you need. That's really all you need. But the problem is, I can't see my logo because now this is on top of it. What I do need to do is there's layers you can create, right? The different layers, and makes it very easy. So you click on this, and you go up here, down here, hit those three dots, it says layer, and then you want to send it backwards, right? All the way to the back. You send it to the back because you want everything to lay on top of the main thing, so the graphics go on top. So once I do that, boom, now there reappears that, the quote-unquote branding of the channel. So I'll click on that, move it. I'll probably have it up here, like in the corner. But as you can see, it's covering her face, and I don't want that. I don't want to cover up anybody's face. So I'm going to go over here and see if I can drag this over this way, give it a little bit of room, and kind of widen this out. And that seems good, right? Right, but that's still not appealing enough to me. It's not appealing enough to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dupe this page. Duping is just like copying it. So I'm going to copy it, right? Down here gives you the option to duplicate. It gives you the option to duplicate a page right there, and that just makes an exact replica of that, and it puts it on the top layer, on top of everything. What I'm going to do now is, there's this really cool, insane feature called background remover, and then you click that, and any item that's highlighted, it will get rid of that, like the background on it. And it's such a intelligent tool that, if you can see here, you can see that? It just has the girls there on the bed, and looks pretty great. It's clean, and it'll look clean, and that's what I want to do. And I'll tell you why in a second. So I'm gonna highlight the background again, and I'm gonna go to edit, and blur. This is what gives it, make sure it's on whole image. This is what gives the background separation and depth. So the main image, which is the girls, will really pop in the thumbnail. So I'm gonna blur the background. As you can see, it kind of looks out of focus. So I'll show you what happens next. So you go back to the main picture, right? So you can see how out of focus it looks. And I look and I say, well, I can't tell anything that they're on. So I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna blur it a little bit less. Usually I I want to see a little bit because this is a nice background here. So I want to see it a little bit, right? So I'll go up here and see it. It's a little bit more clearer now, right? So I'm going to highlight this and I'm just going to line it up. So now you can see it's the same picture, right? It's the same picture. And I just want to make sure it lines up perfectly, right? And I love when it lines up. When you look at it, you can get it to be creative. You can be as creative as you want, and sometimes simpler is better. So I'll have a picture of myself on there and just reacting to the thing. And sometimes I just, I think a picture of the band with the album cover. See how it's not quite lining up here? And sometimes it's a bitch just to, what I'll do is I'll go back here, highlight that, and dupe it. I'll dupe it. I'll go to blur and bring that blur all the way out. Now on this dupe there is no blur. On the background there is. I'll edit that background remover and I'll go right here and just line it up. Now, to me, there's aspects of it where I'm like, well, that's imperfect, but it gives you this glowing look. The edges of the picture looks like it's kind of glowing, and while it may seem to me like it's like a mistake, it's not, because it gives the image where there's a background light or a fill light coming on, which I like. So I'm gonna go down here and I wanna go to my layers again. And I'm gonna choose show layers. So here's the girls cut out, the image cut out. Here's the background that's blurred. Here's the logo. And here is the review. I'm gonna go to review. I'm going to select that. Now it's going to highlight that. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to bring that to the top. Bring it to the front. Now, you see how that goes like that? But I think it may get lost because it's a glowing effect. What I would like to do is go to effects and find, it's a neon effect. Now if I go to something like outline, will that be too much? If I like make it white and then like the thickness, I'll like bring it down. Nah, it's still kind of, how about black? How will black look? No, I don't think that's working out, right? So what is going on that is not working out for me? Well, it's that the font is empty. You see? You can see through the font. So now I'm going to go back to effects and I'm going to make the thickness a little bit more pronounced, right? And since these girls have a lot of color and the lighting in the background is pink, blue, and green, the pink is laying right here. So I kind of want to do without the pink. So I'm probably going to I'm going to choose a color that's closer to what's up here, so it keeps the theme, the theme of the font. Here's the text color. I'm gonna try to go for a blue. What do you say? There's the blue, right? But down here you can kind of adjust which blue you like. It's more of a purple. Here's a darker blue. I like that. I like the darker. Now, and I'll tell you why. So now I'm going back up to effects. I'm going to go to outline. We're up the outline, and I'm going to make that outline white, right? And then I'm going to bring the thickness down. Now, the color stands out way more. You could read that just from here, right? And blue matches with here. And this gives it like a really soft and earthy and then like a flowery, background. And the girls look so fucking badass. The only thing that's missing is what? The album cover. So now that I got this where I want it, I want to go over here to uploads, right? And I want to select the album cover. And now I have to adjust where I want that album cover. And I see something I can do immediately. So I'm going to make this look as similar as the reviews will show up here, right? The logo for that will show up here. But I wanna put a little outline on it. So I'll go to shadows. Why outline is on shadows, I don't know. And I will make that white because I want it to be a little pronounced. But I won't make it too, I won't make it too much, right? So there it is. And I'll select this, and there's your white outline. But I want to do something a little bit more creative. So I'll go down here and I'll make a little layer. And I'll click the layers, show the layers. So here's all the layers, right? That's the background. So this is the album cover, and I click that, boom. I'm gonna send it backwards. The reason why is because I want the logo, the channel logo, to be on top of it, and I want this particular band member, to be over top of it, so it looks like there's layers. There's the background, there's the album, and then there's her. But I'm going to send it back one more layer, because where is the logo? The band, Pi Records logo. There it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down, not that, the Pi Records logo, right? No. See, this is how tricky it gets sometimes. You grab one thing. You can always go back and undo, Control Z. But I want to fit this, right? I thought, there's a moon there. So I thought, yeah. I can put that circle, the Pi Records logo, right over top of the moon. You know what? Nobody would be any the wiser. And there you go. And so I could put it over here, but I like to have some breathing room. So what you can see here is there's a little depth. What I could do is put like a white old YouTube style outline around it, which it has been advised that I do that in the past, but it looks clunky and it looks YouTube. And I want this to look like a magazine channel, like a modern version of the old rock magazines, right? So, I've made this especially for YouTube, right? So it has to look YouTube-ish, but so I did the things that needs to stand out. The Black Widows needs to stand out. The album cover needs to stand out. My logo doesn't need to stand out because when I grab the screen, it will be big enough on Facebook to see my logo. So it doesn't need to be pronounced. The review, that needs to be pronounced, and this needs to be pronounced, and the girls need to seem pronounced. That is what I've come to learn is a perfect mix. It's not about me. This thing isn't about me. When I go on camera and do the shit, then it's just me talking about this. So in order to let me do one last thing. I'm going to go to layers, and I'm going to show layers, and I'm going to go to this the album cover, and I just want to give it a little bit of a move it a little bit, right? A little bit. Go here, and I want to. And I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, so I'm going to unselect that, deselect it. So while you can't see that, you will see it in the title, the name of the album, and that's okay. So I wanted to put this in the file that I'm going to edit all of this. This is the reviews, and then the cover that's going to go in the video over my shoulder in the editing software. And I want to make sure that this, like all the review stuff, is in the same spot. So I'm going to do a screen grab of this, because, right? I want to make sure it lines up perfectly. And then I drag it up here quickly because it'll disappear. And there it is. And sometimes, depending on how early the computer is on and how much time I give everything to wake up, it might take 5 to 10 seconds. But I guarantee you this computer is super fast. And for some reason, yeah, there you go. So another tip I've learned is, as you can see, it's 4 megabytes. That's twice as big as it needs to be, or is allowed to be. So I'll bring that up, and let me go over here and minimize this one because I no longer need it. I'll minimize that, and there is what the YouTube thumbnail is going to look like. But it's a 4 megabyte file, so I need to cut it down to under 2. For some reason, the default settings go to custom, and maybe it's just because of that template or the size of the screen grab. So I'll go down here and make it 1280, right? And down here it goes to 1.6 megabytes from what they consider 3.5, but the file reads 4. Can't do that. And then I go okay, and that is the actual file size, which cuts it about a little bit more than in half. And when I hit X, it'll do okay. And there it is, 1.6. So I want to go over here, and for metadata's sake, as much metadata as you can put in your upload, the better. So I will put the Black Widows, right? And what's the name of the album? What's the name of the album? Anybody remember? Swamp Rock what? City. Swamp Rock City. I forgot. So I'm going to change the name, Swamp Rock City, right? Black Widows, Swamp Rock City. And I'm going to make sure it says review, right? Because that's the name of the band, the album, and the review. Now, when you upload that to YouTube, that thumbnail, when you go to upload the video, you have I can do custom thumbnails, so I can upload anything, as long as it's under 2 megabytes. That metadata will go in, and it'll be like, when it searches for thumbnails, not only elements of the actual graphic picture, the image, it will also look at the metadata of the actual file name. So instead of saying screenshot blah blah blah, it's going to say the Black Widow Swamp Rock City review, and that'll be that, you know. And this is only, like, it used to take me hours, and I used to use the same template for everything. but I've gotten to the point where I've gotten okay at doing it, and the better I get, when I get used to it or I get bored, I'll level up again. And that's what I call leveling up, going from a crappy background and the album cover, which is still the same as it always been, but making the background colorful, being the girls, you'll make the connection. It's a review of the girls' album, Swamp Rock City. So that took 30 minutes just to do like a normal one and explain it to you, right? Make sure it was layered and everything properly. That's 30 minutes for one YouTube thumbnail. I'm gonna do that for all of them. Think of it, over 1,000 videos. It used to take me a lot longer to do something very simple. This is a lot more complex, and it takes me a half hour. So I have to set time again aside to shoot it and edit it. Now, while the shooting won't take very long because I will listen to it and gather my thoughts and make notes beforehand. And as you can see, when I taped it on that other video, I look in the prompter while I'm doing it. And it's all good to go. And then the editing, I'll do at a different time. I'll choose a shorter video like this because the editing, maybe I'll do the interview, because there's some parts where like Zoom just like cuts out. It just fucking drops out. I don't want to knock Zoom too much. I know I complained about it a lot, but it's been an extremely useful tool that allows me to speak to everybody from every continent. I've spoken to everybody in every continent in many, many countries except for Antarctica, that continent. I haven't spoken to yet because there's no fucking mans there. But that's how I make it. 32 minutes and 15 seconds. It's super boring, but I'm gonna make a nice little background of their music, and so you have something to listen to. And tomorrow on YouTube, you'll be able to see this review when I'm done. For now, chill.